Have you ever pondered why, after uttering numerous Hail Marys, your heart remains touched by that unusual void as if your words were scattered in the atmosphere without ever reaching the heavens? Why does this prayer intended to bring you comfort occasionally feel like a mechanical chant, a lifeless echo that escapes your lips, yet fails to resonate within your spirit? Envision for a moment yourself alone in your room, clutching the rosary, articulating the words that have brought solace to countless souls over the ages, yet sensing that something significant is absent, something that could elevate that mere recitation into a torrent of grace that inundates your existence. Hit that subscribe button to ensure you receive more wisdom and guidance from Saint Faustina. Recall the last instant you recited the Hail Mary with genuine devotion. Can you reminisce about that enigmatic warmth in your heart, that reassurance that your words were being heard by a nurturing mother? Yet too frequently, we find ourselves voicing these sacred phrases almost mindlessly, our thoughts drifting to the anxieties of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. You are certainly not alone in this battle. Even the most revered saints grapple with this struggle, the conflict between the routine of prayer and the yearning for a genuine connection with the divine. Saint Faustina Kowalska, the messenger of divine mercy, comprehended this spiritual aridity better than most. In her writings, she reflected on moments when her prayers felt barren, where her words seemed to reverberate emptily within her soul. However, she unearthed something remarkable, a secret embedded within each Hail Mary that transforms this humble prayer into a significant offering for your very spirit. This was not just a theological notion for Faustina. It was a lived reality forged through her profound dialogues with Jesus and Mary themselves. The misfortune of our contemporary era is that we have diminished the Hail Mary to mere recitation, overlooking that each word encapsulates the very essence of the Incarnation. When the angel Gabriel declared, "Hail Mary, full of grace," he was not merely conveying a message. He announced the moment when eternity intersected with time, when the limitless God chose to reside within the womb of a young girl. Every time you reiterate those words, you are echoing that very angelic proclamation, engaging in the enigma of God becoming man. But here's what Saint Faustina unearthed through her mystical insights. The Hail Mary is not just a supplication for Mary, it's a prayer that Mary herself brings before Jesus on behalf of your soul. Each Hail Mary evolves into a request wrapped in her maternal affection, an appeal steeped in her intercession, a plea for mercy clothed in her perfect acceptance. When you grasp this concealed aspect, every Hail Mary shifts from a mere routine utterance into powerful spiritual combat for your eternal salvation. Can you fathom the significance of having a mother in heaven who persistently remembers your name, who never ceases interceding for your soul, who gathers your prayers like cherished pearls and presents them at the feet of her Son? This is the truth that Saint Faustina encountered with such fervor that it altered her complete comprehension of prayer. In her diary she expressed, "Mary is my mother in spirit, and she grants me everything I need." Diary 240. These were not just devout words for Faustina. They articulated a living relationship that carried her through the bleakest nights of her spirit. Visualize yourself as a tiny child, lost in a sprawling multitude, calling out for your mother. Your voice is feeble, easily muffled by the surrounding clamor. Yet then, amidst the turmoil, you hear her calling your name, and suddenly nothing else holds significance. This is how it unfolds in the spiritual realm. Each time you recite the Hail Mary with intent, Mary perceives your voice among billions, acknowledges it as the cry of her child, and responds with all the tenderness of a mother's love, perfectly aligned with the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Saint Faustina learned that Mary goes beyond just hearing our prayers. She clarifies and purifies them. Our human expressions, frequently blemished with selfishness or uncertainty, pass through her immaculate heart and emerge renewed, adorned with her own flawless love and submission to divine will. When you present a Hail Mary for your soul, you're not merely beseeching for assistance. You're allowing Mary to take your flawed offering and lay it before Jesus with the beauty and innocence of her own yes to God. This is why the saints referred to Mary as the mediatrix of all graces, because every blessing descending from heaven to earth flows through her loving hands. But Faustina grasped something even more profound. Mary's intercession is not a time of idly sitting and waiting. She actively looks for ways to aid your spirit, to connect you more closely to her Son, and to shield you from spiritual threats. In her mystical experiences, Faustina envisioned Mary as a fierce warrior mother battling for the salvation of every soul placed in her care. Every Hail Mary you recite serves as ammunition in this spiritual warfare, a radiant weapon wielded by the Queen of Heaven herself against the forces aiming to ruin your soul. This is why the enemy quivers at the utterance of the Hail Mary, as he realizes that with each prayer you are calling upon the mightiest intercessor in all of creation. Imagine being told that there's a method to pray the Hail Mary that transforms each word into a soothing balm for your aching soul, and each phrase into a gift of grace for your eternal salvation. Saint Faustina uncovered this truth, not through textbooks or scholars, but through direct revelation from Jesus himself. She understood that when you dedicate each Hail Mary specifically for your own spirit, something miraculous transpires in the spiritual realm. You are essentially enveloping your delicate humanity in Mary's protective mantle, ensuring that her nurturing care follows you into eternity. Most individuals recite the Hail Mary for others, for the ill, the dying, and for global harmony. These intentions are beautiful, and Mary receives them with delight. Yet Fina realized that Jesus and Mary also desire for you to pray for your own salvation, to be mindful of the condition of your own soul. This is not a sign of selfishness, it's a mark of spiritual wisdom. How can you assist others in reaching heaven if you are spiritually destitute yourself? When you pray, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. You are acknowledging your own need for mercy and your dependence on Mary's intercession. The key lies within the intention behind the prayer. Rather than simply reciting the words, you intentionally offer each Hail Mary as a present to Mary, requesting her to keep it as a treasure for your soul. Saint Faustina would pray, "Mary, I bestow this Hail Mary for my soul. Guard it in your immaculate heart until I reunite with you in eternity." She recognized that Mary cherishes these gifts, preserving them like a loving mother, values her child's artwork, ready to present them to Jesus at the moment of your passing as evidence of your love and fidelity. If you feel drawn to uncover this transformative secret, if you wish to revolutionize your prayer life forever, comment "I want to learn the secret" and subscribe to the channel. This message reached you for a reason. It arrived precisely when your soul needed to uncover the hidden power of the Hail Mary. Picture that moment of your passing, when you stand before Jesus for judgment. In that chilling instant when your entire life is laid open, Mary steps forward with her hands brimming with your Hail Marys, each one a testament to your faith in her intercession. She presents them to her son and says, "This child sought my help, trusted in my prayers, and offered these gifts for their own salvation." At that moment, you'll grasp why Saint Faustina dubbed each Hail Mary as an insurance policy deposited in Mary's immaculate heart, for she retains every one, awaiting the moment to use them for your eternal benefit. Have you ever contemplated what happens in heaven when you lovingly speak Mary's name? Saint Faustina was blessed with mystical visions that unveiled the unseen reality behind this simple prayer. She observed that each Hail Mary establishes what she referred to as a mystical exchange. Your humble offering of love ascends to Mary, and in response she showers torrents of grace upon your soul. It resembles a divine trade where you offer the little you possess, and Mary gifts you treasures beyond your wildest dreams. In her diary, Saint Faustina recounted witnessing Mary during prayer, glowing with happiness each time someone uttered her name with reverence. The Blessed Mother conveyed to her, "Every Hail Mary is akin to a rose placed at my feet. Yet when someone offers it for their own soul, it transforms into a bouquet that I present to my son for their salvation." This wasn't mere poetry. Faustina was observing the genuine spiritual mechanics of intercession, understanding how human prayer interacts with divine mercy through Mary's mediation. The beauty of this mystical exchange is that it demands no profound theological understanding, no extraordinary spiritual gifts, only a loving heart and genuine intention. When you say, "Hail Mary, full of grace," you're not just recalling a historical event, you're entering into that same grace, inviting Mary to share with you the fullness that God bestowed upon her. When you proclaim that the Lord is with you, you're recognizing that wherever Jesus resides, Mary is also by his side, and you're inviting that same divine presence into your life. Saint Faustina realized that the strength of this exchange thrives when you intentionally present each Hail Mary as a gift for the salvation of your soul. She visualized placing each prayer like a blooming flower in Mary's hands, requesting her to keep it until her final hour. Through this devotion, she amassed what she referred to as a treasury of mercy, an abundance of Hail Marys, safeguarded in Mary's pure heart, poised to be accessed during her greatest moment of need. This practice provided her immense peace throughout her life and gave her courage in the face of death, assured that Mary held her salvation with maternal care. The mystical exchange reaches its peak in the final plea, "Pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death." At this moment, you're not merely seeking generic prayers, you're earnestly requesting Mary's intervention during the two most pivotal moments of your life: the present where you can still grow in grace and avoid sin, and the final moment when your eternal fate is determined. Each Hail Mary transforms into a dual request. "Aid me in living as your child now, and accompany me when my time comes." What if every Hail Mary you've ever prayed has been crafting an unseen shield around your soul, safeguarding you from spiritual dangers that go unnoticed? Saint Faustina recognized that the Hail Mary transcends mere prayer. It's a powerful spiritual weapon, a protective shield of mercy deflecting the enemy's assaults. In her mystical encounters, she experienced how demons would flee at the utterance of Mary's name spoken with faith, how the simple phrase of the Hail Mary constructs barriers of light that evil cannot breach. In her darkest moments, when doubts challenged her mission and temptations threatened to engulf her, Saint Faustina would grasp her rosary and repetitively recite Hail Mary after Hail Mary until tranquility returned to her soul. She uncovered that this prayer has the ability to restore spiritual balance, calming the raging storms of anxiety and fear that surge within the human heart. In her diary, she penned. When doubts besiege me, I find refuge in the Hail Mary, and instantaneously, the Mother of God comes to my rescue. Diary 161. The protective armor crafted by each Hail Mary becomes especially formidable when offered for the safeguarding of your own soul. Saint Faustina learned to pray, Mary, I present this Hail Mary as a shield for my soul against all evil. Envelop me in your protective mantle. She recognized that Mary's nurturing love transcends this life, that the Hail Marys offered for your soul forge a spiritual legacy that shields you even in purgatory, hastening your path to the blissful vision. However, this armor necessitates upkeep, a continual rejuvenation through devoted prayer. Just as a knight must consistently polish his armor and mend any flaws, your soul requires the daily offering of Hail Marys to sustain its spiritual protection. Saint Faustina realized that consistency holds greater significance than sheer quantity. It's preferable to pray a single Hail Mary each day with heartfelt devotion than to recite an entire rosary mechanically. Each prayer dedicated to your soul adds an additional layer to the armor, another level of protection, another reason for Mary to intercede powerfully on your behalf. The ultimate testament to this armor's potency reveals itself at the moment of death, when all worldly safeguards collapse and the soul stands bare before eternity. Saint Faustina was assured by Jesus himself that those who faithfully honored his mother would have her by their side at their deathbed, ready to guide them gently into the light. Each Hail Mary devoted to your soul acts as a beacon, summoning Mary to your side during that critical moment, ensuring that you do not confront final judgment alone, but enveloped in her maternal love and protection. Can you envision having a spiritual bank account where every Hail Mary you dedicate to your soul accrues eternal interest, amassing graces that will be at your disposal during your greatest time of need? This precisely was the discovery Saint Faustina made through her mystical insight into divine economy. She understood that God operates on principles of justice and mercy, which permit souls to deposit prayers and sacrifices that can later be withdrawn. Especially at the time of death when mercy is most essential, Saint Faustina cultivated a distinctive practice she labeled spiritual deposits. Each morning she would offer her initial Hail Mary specifically for her soul, proclaiming, Mary, I place this prayer in your immaculate heart as a deposit for my salvation. Hold on to it until the moment I need it the most. Throughout the day, whenever she felt inspired to pray extra Hail Marys for her own soul, she would make the same offering, imagining Mary collecting each prayer like valuable gems in a treasure chest labeled with her name. The charm of this practice rests in its straightforwardness and accessibility. You don't have to be a mystic or a theologian to grasp it. All you need is to trust that Mary loves you as her own child and desires to assist you in reaching heaven. Each Hail Mary turns into a tangible expression of faith in her nurturing care, a conscious decision to entrust your eternal well-being to her hands. Saint Faustina emphasized that the clearer your intention, the more potent the prayer becomes. So rather than praying for all sinners generally, you focus specifically on my soul's salvation. Saint Faustina also realized that these spiritual deposits yield what she termed compound interest in the spiritual domain. Every Hail Mary dedicated to your soul draws in additional graces, creating a multiplying effect that she could only describe as miraculous. She noted, I have discovered that one Hail Mary prayed for my own soul with complete trust brings more graces than numerous prayers given with half-hearted devotion. Diary 315. This taught her to prioritize quality over quantity, intentionality over mere repetition. The practice grows even stronger when paired with specific requests. Rather than just offering general Hail Marys for your soul, you can address particular spiritual needs. Mary, I present this Hail Mary for the grace of enduring steadfastness. Mary, I offer this prayer seeking protection against sudden death. Mary, I dedicate this Hail Mary asking for the grace to pass away in perfect charity. Saint Faustina discovered that Mary finds joy in these specific requests because they demonstrate that her children are aware of their spiritual needs and have faith in her ability to assist them. What would you be willing to give to realize that at the very moment of your passing, Mary will be at your side, holding all the Hail Marys you dedicated to your soul throughout your life? Saint Faustina was blessed with a mystical vision of her own passing. She witnessed Mary present carrying what appeared to be a golden box brimming with all the prayers Faustina had dedicated for her own salvation. In that vision, Jesus proclaimed, "These prayers are my mother's offerings for you throughout your lifetime. They constitute your dowry for eternity." The hour of mercy that concludes every Hail Mary now, and at the hour of our passing, takes on significant weight when viewed through Saint Faustina's mystical experiences. She learned that Mary possesses unique authority over the moment of death, acting as the guide who aids souls in their transition from time to eternity. Yet this authority is activated by the prayers offered during one's lifetime, especially those dedicated to one's own salvation. Every Hail Mary serves as a key unlocking Mary's heart to intervene at that critical moment. Saint Faustina realized that Mary does not merely manifest at death for those who sought her prayers. She comes endowed with the specific graces requested in those prayers. If you consistently offered Hail Marys for a serene passing, Mary brings that peace. If you prayed for protection against despair, she delivers hope. If you asked for perfect contrition, she grants the grace of genuine repentance. The prayers you present for your soul during life transform into the graces you receive at death, a flawless demonstration of divine justice and mercy working together. However, the hour of mercy extends beyond the moment of death itself. Saint Faustina discovered that Mary's intercession persists in purgatory for those souls who faithfully honored her throughout their lives. The Hail Marys dedicated to your soul do more than just aid you in dying well. They also expedite your purification, hastening your entry into the beatific vision. She wrote, "I have observed souls in purgatory who find comfort in the memory of their devotion to Mary and who benefit from the prayers they offered for themselves during their lives." Diary 20. The ultimate hour of mercy arrives when your purification reaches completion and you are prepared to enter heaven. Saint Faustina was shown that Mary personally presents each soul to Jesus, offering all the prayers that soul has contributed for its own salvation as her gift to him. In that moment of utter significance, you'll comprehend why each Hail Mary held significance, why every prayer dedicated for your soul was invaluable, and why Mary cherished them all in her immaculate heart until the perfect moment to showcase them to her Son as evidence of your love and faith. Can you sense it unfolding? That intricate yet significant shift within your heart as you start to grasp the genuine power concealed in each Hail Mary. A deep change stirs in your spirit when you recognize that this humble prayer, offered with sincere intention, can genuinely alter your spiritual state, unlocking streams of grace that once felt eternally barred. Saint Faustina felt this change so intensely that she penned, "I sense the Hail Mary alters something inside me every time I recite it for my soul. It's as if Mary herself is nurturing my heart, preparing it for eternity." Diary 1237. The transformation commences with a newfound awareness of your own spiritual insufficiency and yearning for mercy. As you begin to dedicate Hail Marys specifically for your soul, you start to view yourself through Mary's eyes, not merely as a lost sinner, but as a cherished child seeking assistance and guidance. This viewpoint fosters a deep humility, void of despair, genuine self-awareness, untainted by self-loathing. You come to realize that admitting your need for Mary's intercession is not a mark of weakness, but of profound insight, reflecting not a deficiency of faith in Jesus, but an engagement in God's plan for salvation. As this practice evolves, Saint Faustina learned that your connection with Mary evolves into something more personal and heartfelt. She transitions from being a distant biblical figure to a nurturing mother actively participating in your everyday spiritual trials. You begin to feel her presence in your prayers, to sense her gentle nudges when you stray from righteousness, to find solace in her companionship during tough times. The Hail Marys offered for your soul weave what Faustina described as threads of connection that unite your heart to Mary's immaculate heart in ties of divine love. The most significant metamorphosis unfolds in your attitude toward death and eternity. What once evoked dread, the thought of judgment, purgatory, and the unknown, starts to fill you with serene assurance. Not because you rely on your own merits, but because you trust in Mary's promise to support her devoted children. Each Hail Mary, dedicated for your soul, becomes akin to a star, illuminating the way towards eternity, dispelling the shadows of fear and uncertainty that affect so many souls as they confront their final journey. Saint Faustina described the ultimate change as a gradual alignment with Mary's spirit of unwavering trust in divine mercy. With each Hail Mary you consistently offer for your soul, you begin to embody Mary's complete faith in God's kindness, her steadfast hope in His forgiveness, her total surrender to His will. Your prayer life transitions from merely requesting things to wholly surrendering yourself to God through Mary's care, believing that she knows precisely what your soul requires for salvation and will generously provide it. What if each Hail Mary you dedicate for your soul sends waves of grace that ripple far beyond yourself, affecting the lives of family members, friends, and even strangers in ways that will only be revealed in eternity? Saint Faustina uncovered that the spiritual economy of heaven thrives on principles of overwhelming generosity. When you prioritize your own salvation through Mary's intercession, God amplifies that grace, extending it to benefit innumerable other souls. This isn't selfishness, it's spiritual insight that understands you can only share what you possess. Through her mystical encounters, Saint Faustina realized that Mary never receives a prayer for an individual soul without promptly sharing its blessings with others who are in need of mercy. When you present a Hail Mary for your own salvation, Mary takes that prayer and magnifies it, utilizing it to assist other souls who might be without anyone to pray for them. She learned that the Mother of God functions like a spiritual matriarch, nourishing a large family. She takes whatever resources are offered to her and somehow makes them plentiful enough for everyone gathered around the table. The multiplication effect becomes especially potent within families and communities. Saint Faustina observed that when one family member consistently prays Hail Marys for their own soul, the entire family begins to experience elevated spiritual protection and blessings. Mary's compassionate heart cannot help but extend her affection to all children associated with the one who seeks her aid. This is why the saints urged parents to pray for their own salvation, not as an act of selfishness, but as the most effective means to secure spiritual blessings for their children and grandchildren. Yet this multiplication reaches its peak in the communion of saints, where personal acts of faith enrich the spiritual abundance of the entire church. Saint Faustina was revealed that every Hail Mary prayed for your soul contributes to what theologians refer to as the treasury of merit, a spiritual repository from which the Church draws graces for the salvation of souls. Your individual devotion becomes part of the greater mystery of how personal sanctification aids in the salvation of the world. The ultimate multiplication happens at the moment of death, when the graces gathered from a lifetime of Hail Marys offered for your soul spill over to aid the souls in purgatory. Saint Faustina discovered that Mary utilizes the surplus graces from your prayers to assist other souls in completing their purification more swiftly. In this manner, your worry for your own salvation transforms into a source of relief for countless suffering souls, crafting a beautiful cycle of mercy that will be one of your greatest joys in the afterlife. Can you envision stepping into eternity, carrying a treasure chest filled with every Hail Mary you ever offered for your soul? Each prayer, transformed by Mary's love, becomes a gem of infinite value. This is the vision that fortified Saint Faustina through every trial, every doubt, and every moment of despair. The unwavering knowledge that her faithful devotion to Mary was constructing a legacy that would never diminish, never be taken away, and never lose its significance. Today you have the chance to begin crafting that same eternal treasure. Commencing with your very next Hail Mary, the beauty of this spiritual legacy is that it starts accumulating immediately from the moment you first offer a Hail Mary with the clear intention of seeking Mary's guidance for your soul's salvation. Unlike earthly investments that can devalue or vanish overnight, these spiritual contributions only grow in value, earning what Saint Faustina termed eternal dividends that will benefit you for all eternity. Each prayer turns into a thread in the extraordinary tapestry of your salvation story, woven by Mary's own loving hands with infinite care and compassion. As you embark on this practice, Saint Faustina encourages you to start humbly yet consistently. Select a specific time each day, perhaps upon waking or before meals or at bedtime, to offer at least one Hail Mary solely for your own soul. Say it slowly with purpose, picturing Mary receiving your prayer and carefully storing it in her immaculate heart. Don't be concerned if you don't feel anything extraordinary at first. Trust that Mary is working even when her actions are not immediately evident to you. Faith, rather than feeling, is what truly matters in forging this spiritual inheritance. Saint Faustina also emphasized the necessity of perseverance in this devotion. There will be days when prayer feels arid, when the words seem hollow, and when you may question if Mary truly hears you. In such moments, remember that your emotions do not dictate the potency of your prayers. Mary cherishes your steadfast offering even more during these times of spiritual dryness, since they signify pure faith untainted by emotional comfort. Every Hail Mary prayed for your soul during challenging times becomes particularly precious in Mary's view. The ultimate aim of this practice isn't merely to secure your own salvation, though that alone would make it meaningful, but to experience the deep peace that arises from knowing you've entrusted your eternal destiny into the most loving and capable hands. When you regularly offer Hail Marys for your soul, you begin to share Mary's own confidence in divine mercy, her unwavering trust that God's love will triumph over all barriers. This is the most valuable gift of all. Not just salvation, but the joy that comes with it. The tranquility of knowing that Mary safeguards your future in her maternal heart, prepared to present you to Jesus draped in her own love.